What's up, everybody? We're back again with another Top Cut breakdown for the Dragon Ball Super card game Go format. We play these tournaments through Discord, and we've just wrapped up another one of these events. In fact, this one's a little bit delayed. We ended this right about the end of February, very beginning of March. Just been a busy month, but I wanted to make sure that we got this covered. For this event, it was kind of our first one of the year, so we wanted to have like a special rule where none of the decks that had already top cut the last year none of the leaders that had already top cut could be used, just to mix things up a little bit and keep the first event of the year a little bit light. So you'll notice this top cut looks, maybe a little bit different than you might expect from a format like this. You don't see any of the Surge Gokus, Surge Piccolos, Black Boos, like any of that kind of stuff that you might standard see here. All of those decks have already made top cut, so none of them could be played. So in the top cut here, for this event, we have a green set 1 Broly. We have Reboot Beerus, your kind of standard 16 energy ramp deck. We have a red-blue ramp Gogeta as well, and then we had a Jackie Chun deck that was built around the Power Booster promo Goku. All four of these decks are pretty interesting, and there's kind of a lot to talk about because they are uncommon lists even for the format, so I just want to kind of dig right into what we have to see here. So up first, we're going to take a look at the Broly deck. Now this was the deck that got 4th place. This was played by a member in our Discord whose name is Titus, and you'll notice right away that he noticed as he was playing too, something that was so obvious in building the deck he kind of forgot about. The 1-cost Broly, Dawn of the Rampage, is not present. Whoops. Luckily for him, in this event, there was also a number of slow decks that kind of made the finals. The Beerus deck takes a long time to finish its game, like literally 16 energy worth of turns. The Ramp Gogeta deck takes a bunch of turns, and the Jackie Chun deck also doesn't really get to do the thing until turn 4 or 5. So fortunately for this Broly player, there were a number of decks in this event that gave him the time of day to care about it. So while it sucked not having the 1-drops, I'm sure he would have loved to have them. It actually did work out reasonably well. He was able to kind of just start on the Endless Evolutions or whatever if he would need to. But just looking at the deck from the beginning, we've got 2 Urgent 8 Kamis main decked, which is a little bit uncommon, but I do like it here. He used 2 copies of Heroes Mafuba, which is one of my favorite cards. It just counters a battle card attack. You place it on top, and until the end of your next turn, it's just sort of locked underneath this card. Doesn't see as much play, obviously, as Blue Mafuba does, because it's a little harder to have the right card in play. But Kami is a god, so if you've got him on the table, you can use this. Pretty effective. 3 copies of Newfound Power Gohan, which also makes sense. This leader does have the capacity to self-awaken itself pretty quick when you use the Broly Saiyan Rampage. That'll take 2 life to get everything going. So you don't want a ton of self-awaken, but sometimes you do need this to get to that backside of the deck. That's where things really start to shine, and some critical damage is always good. Endless Evolutions, Deathless Warriors, just kind of classic middle-of-the-road Broly targets. The four copies of Broly Rampaging Horror is a little bit surprising to me. I might have gone 4 of Supreme Berserker and 3 of this one. I can understand that he just wants to have targets to be able to play off of playing this card. You can play a cost of 7 or less Broly when you hardcast this card, which you can do for 4 by sacrificing a Broly's Ring. So you can play this guy out. That lets you play 1 of these. This is the one you would typically play. It's a critical barrier. Once per turn, you can burst 5. If your leader's a Broly and they have 3 or less cards in their hand, you get to attack them twice. Or if they have a bunch of cards in their hand, you just get to rip 1 out of it. That's cool. Worst case scenario, though, you get a double strike 30k that makes them rip 2 cards out of their hand. I think the potential for dual attack here, or the critical value, is probably what I would tend to go with more often, but sometimes a 30k double striker is just enough to end the game, so I don't hate this kind of combination of 7, but I might have done 4 and 3. But you do need at least these 7s or this 8. If you can sacrifice one of these and you've got 1 life, you can play out this Broly. This secret rare is awesome. It's always been one of my favorites. Double strike, dual attack. When a battle card costs 7 or more is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO'd, you can activate this one. Choose all cards other than this card from your hand, place them in the drop, and if you do, play this card. Cool. When it attacks, your life is at 1. Your opponent chooses all the cards in their hand and puts them in the drop. So then both of you have dropped your whole hand. You've got a double duel. 40k, often that's enough for game if they've got nothing in their hand. And when they attack, they discard their hand again. So you attack the first time, they draw 2 cards. If one of those isn't a negate, they're taking 2 more damage. Just a huge value SCR. We've got a couple surprise attacks freezes, which makes sense. There's plenty of opportunities to KO cards along the way here, so that's not a shocker. 2 copies of Master Roshi Kamehameha Origins. You can pay a green if this card's in your drop, and you can send it from the drop to the warp to put a green extra card in the drop into your hand. He's got, as you can see, a lot of green extra cards. A lot of times this Roshi, hence the title, does see a lot of play grabbing Earth Destroying Kamehamehas just to get a big combo bonus and rip cards out of their hand. But being able to loop Death Balls is really good. Being able to grab Heroes Mafubas if you've still got a Kami is also really strong. Or if you need another Broly's Ring, if you just haven't gotten to set it up another way, it's a good emergency oh shit button for that situation too. Titus did not play much of a sideboard. He had 2 Focus Breakthroughs and 2 Hidden Power of the Saiyans, just for a little bit of counterplay where it's relevant. The Breakthrough, relevant for any of the big kind of floodgatey topos or stuff that you might see too, so that can help there. But I would obviously play more cards than 4, but these were the 4 that he was like sure of, and that was enough for him. Obviously, there's some changes you would make to this list if you were to build it yourself to take it further than this event. But I do think that Set 1 Broly is still perfectly playable. Not as, dominant as it once was, but things like the Supreme Berserker and the Saiyan Berserker have both helped a ton to keep its playability viable. Then we've got the Beerus deck. This is the deck that took 3rd place. Looking at it, you can see that it is like a fairly standard mono blue ramp package. Most of the stuff here makes a lot of sense. One of the things I really want to highlight in this format here is Frieza Universe 7 United. 3 cost 20k barrier blocker. When it dies, activate main, you can pay 3 to play it from your drop area, so you just get it back. So on one turn you play it, you block it the next turn, then the following turn you pay 3 and you just have it again. It has barrier again, so they are going to have a hard time getting rid of it, and you have the energy to spare to spend 3 to just keep cheesing this guy out. And that's not a once per turn, it's not limited or anything, so if you had 2 of these in the discard pile, sometimes you could just play 1 from your hand into play 1 from the discard pile, and then start looping 2 of them a turn from there. You're pushing for 16 energy with this deck, and so spend 3 to 6 of it each turn to just stay alive. Definitely doesn't hurt. Speaking of spending energy, the player that put this deck, he goes by Mortal Scum in the Discord. He has played this card to great effect. 3 cost 20k. When you play it, draw 2 cards. A lot of times you're not going to pay 3 for just draw 2 cards, but in a deck where you've got energy for days, this card makes a lot more sense and was super valuable. The Jido here for sort of the Deadly Defender vibe. While it's tapped, they have to attack that. The Hit Deadly Vanguard, it's a counterplay. It costs 3 on your opponent's turn. When your opponent plays a 5 cost or less, it bounces back to their hand, and then once this is played, you choose the 5 cost and bounce back to their hand. So you can bounce 2 cards back to their hand for the cost of 3. Really, really strong. We've got 4 Draw Apes because, energy for days, so that makes a ton of sense. 3 Zamasu super combo. As arguably the best super combo in the format, it's hard to pass this up, but I can understand having a copy of this for a little bit of card draw. When you need it, you do need to stay, in the game, so keeping your hand size up is good. The draw apes is going to help a ton there, but one draw super combo doesn't hurt. He has a couple of different options for finishers here, as opposed to stacking up on one of them. These are all kind of good in different spots. This Goku, he doesn't have a card to evolve it onto, but that's okay. He just pays 7. Has a triple strike. Your opponent can't combo for the duration of this card's battle. The auto doesn't do anything. So it's just a 35k triple strike that they can't combo against. Sometimes if they don't have the negate, like that's just going to be game. Even with your hand low, if they have 16 cards in hand, they're still just dead. So sometimes that's just enough. If their hand is too big, or you need to kind of mitigate some other things, you've got the Gogeta as well. Sparking 10. You can play. You pay this for 7. It's got barrier. If you got 10 cards in your discard pile, when you play this card, you have 5 or more energy. You choose a card in your life, place it in your drop, and then your opponent shuffles all cards in their hand back into their deck and draws 3 cards. Perfect. So just shuffle their hand away, draw 3, and then this is a 30k triple striker. Sometimes, again, that's going to be just enough to kill them. Or if you really need to like clear a body off the board, now you can swing into something where they only have 3 cards to combo over, back into you. And if they do that, then they're going to go into 0 cards in hand to like go into the next turn, and that feels really bad too. And then speaking of 0 cards in hand, Android 17 Turning the Tide. When you play this, you put all of your cards and all your opponent's cards in their hand into back into their decks, and then they put all battle cards from their discard pile into their decks as well. And it's a 7k, 30 cost critical. Just resets both players' hands, and then you've got a big old critical body. Resetting your opponent's hand while you play a 30k is brutal, because it's really hard to overcome a 30k with like 1 card in your hand. Especially when it's going to punch you for critical, so you don't even take the damage off of it. Just a brutal finisher. All 3 of these are really cool, and I like that he's got the options available to himself. And then because he is pushing for the 16 energy win with this, if you have 16 energy, you win the game. So he really needs to stay in the game. So 4 dimension magics and 4 senzu beans, that's pretty standard, but he's also got 3 weakest coercions, which makes sense too. Looking at side deck here, we've got a couple of dirty bursts, which makes sense for a couple of the decks in the format that go super tall. We've got 1 Goku the Unstoppable. When you need this, you need it, and it's good to have. 2 more Deadly Vanguards. If you've got enough value to be bouncing big bodies off the table, this is so worth it. Belmont's kind of a cool inclusion here. It's a free blocker if you sacrifice a couple of little guys, which is fine. You have some kind of, you have these Whis, which once they're played, they're 1+10s, which isn't a great combo. And so if you can sack these in a Roshi or something to be able to play this guy and get a 20k blocker out of it, that's pretty cool. But he's also a free attacker if you just need to kind of push for game. I don't think you're typically going to bring these in aggressively, but definitely good defense. Obuni as well. You can just get some value on the table, kind of spread yourself out. You get a 20k attacker that's really hard to kill while you have tokens. You can even sack those tokens with Beaumont. There's just interesting stuff you can kind of set up that way. And then if they're playing too many small guys, you've got Son Goku striving to be the best. They can't attack with 2 drops or less. He's got barrier. He does what he needs to do. Some decks in this format still use the kind of weenies spam, and if you can overcome that, this card is super good for that. Overall, I think this deck is sweet. I love that he went for the 16 energy thing. I saw him pull it off more than once in this event, so that was just really exciting. Speaking of Beerus, we have a 3rd place Beerus as well. Oh, you know what I did on that first screen? On that little pie chart, I put a Gogeta, but it's not a Gogeta, it's a Beerus. Forgive me, that's a mistake. But, so, 2nd place deck here, played by a guy in our Discord named Skillmain. He is from Germany and ran this deck. It is a little bit different than some of the other red-yellow Beerus decks that I've seen before, but it is still just red-yellow kind of value, good stuff. You get your no-holds bards, you get your obvious heartfelt pleas, that makes a ton of sense. You've got Broly Crown of Retribution main decked, which I think is super good in this format. Draw apes, because everything plays them. So that'll make sense. You've got exploiting weaknesses, which are 27 cents now instead of $100, which is so exciting. That's one of the coolest parts of this format, is just seeing the decks be that much more accessible to people. One thing I want to talk about with this deck, so the root of why it does the thing is you get Beerus's thing is once per turn you get to combo with a red-yellow multi-color card in your drop area for free, which is cool. So it's really easy to get arrivals happening. So Super Baby 1 All-Consuming Terror is kind of the core that this deck is built around. It costs 2. If you Union Absorb into it, which you're never gonna do, what you're gonna do is you're gonna arrival for just a yellow. Cool. So for 1, you play this guy, 15k barrier. Cool. That's all well and good. Get him on the table. Then this one, Super Baby 1 Parasitic Menace, has EX Evolve Red Baby with an energy cost of 4. This is red-yellow, so it counts as red. So you can play this guy on top of him for free. And then when a card evolves into this, you draw a card and choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 5k, so you can kill some of the little one-drop take a life critical guys or whatever, which is cool. But you also can then just pay 1 red, which is cool because you've played a yellow for the first cost. So you can play a red for this cost to play an energy cost 6 baby from your hand, where you're going to play now Apocal Grudge. I want to talk about this one. I want to dive into this one a little bit. So 6 costs 30k triple strike. You've paid 2 energy to do this for a 6 cost triple strike. You can have it on the table as early as turn 2, which is wild. Very, very strong. You are not, however, a machine mutant, so you don't get the draw card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards that loses 20k when it attacks or when they play a card, which is the big thing that this card always did. And that is one thing that Skillmain missed when putting the deck together. He was just like, oh, that's just what it gets to do, I get to have it out. It was not, it was caught early, that was what it does in the event, so it didn't mess with the integrity of things or anything, but it is one thing I would mention if you were trying to just net deck this list or something. Do just pay attention to the fact that Apocal Grudge does not get all of its fun extra stuff, but you did get a 30k triple striker for 2, which is still pretty great. Then with Heartfelt Plea, like I mentioned earlier, you have a ton of 25, 30k bodies that you can sack to this Goku to get him out, and anytime you can, he's just great. I know now he's banned. He was limit 1 at one point. Here in this format, you can still have 4 of him. You get to do full powered Heartfelt Plea to your heart's content, and it is brutal every time. Nice thing here, I like Strategies of Universe 7, the 1 copy giving your Red Saiyan's barrier for a turn. Sometimes that's just enough value. Some decks do have enough removal to be an issue, and so being able to just protect your guys for free is nice, especially if you arrivaled the Super Baby out, or the Super Baby 1 All-Consuming Terror. You've got that sitting on the table, and they're like, all right, well, that card just has barrier, so it's fine, but you can protect some other stuff too. You've got the 3-cost Goku here, which it's not often you're going to play. A lot of times you'll pitch to get rid of one guy, or you can play it to board wipe, which is very valid too. But if you've got him out, or if you've got Exploiting Weaknesses, which is a 19k too, and you've gotten to play a couple of these, or even if you're just kind of on this one, you can protect yourself a little bit as you go. Sometimes arrivaling into this guy, playing this guy for free on top of him to draw the card and neg something is valuable enough that you'll stop here and not have the red energy to go into Apocal Grudge. And when you do, using Strategies of Universe 7 to give it barrier is pretty nice. Almighty Resistance is also a sweet card. It has a counter, which is not a common keyword. Costs a red and a yellow. If your leader is red and you choose a yellow card in your hand and place it in the drop area, you can counter the attack, or counter the counter-attack skill of a card. So for 2, you can just make sure an attack goes through. Also exciting, you can attack, they can counter, you can counter, discard a red-yellow card, and then combo with that red-yellow card from the Beerus effect. So just very cool how well that works here. Is this card... Let's see if it shows it. Oh, there's this version of it that is a really nice foiling, but this was also just reprinted in like the very newest tournament pack with like a Vegito blue art, which looks pretty cool. That's one of the things that's fun about this format too, is that because Masters is still a live game and with an eternal format, there are sometimes that Go format cards get reprinted in cool new arts or foilings, and that's always pretty exciting to see. As far as side deck for this one, again, makes a ton of sense. The topos are huge, the original Floodgate, and sometimes you need it. This deck does want to be pretty aggressive, but some decks are just going to get underneath it, and you need to be able to slow them down. Is That All You Got helps with that too. It gives 2 cards minus 15k, which can help clear out small attackers. Denial of Hope to counterplay big targets. Foo Shouted and Mystery, the iconic, second SCR of every deck. This one doesn't actually main an SCR, which I can understand, because with the way that this deck uses its energy and pressures you, you don't often have enough energy to really fully utilize an SCR. But if you get to 6 energy, this is just going to end the game. So it's good to have. Dark Power Black Saiyan, I mean, most side decks should have this. And Koitsukai makes a ton of sense here too, so your opponent can't counterplay all the cards that you're kind of evolving into and stuff on your turn. That's super brutal, so if you can punish them for that, it helps a ton. And then finally, we've got the Jackie Chun deck. If you've seen a World Tournament deck before, the core of this is going to seem pretty familiar. Most of these are going to play play-by-play Pluro. It's a counterattack for 1, and then on your turn, if there's 2 or more World Martial Art Tournament cards that play when you play this card, you draw 2 cards. So you can play it as a negate, or if you play it on your turn, it's just a 1-cost draw 2. It's very common that you have 2 World Tournament guys, so that's easy. And then this guy, 1 cost, search the top 7 for World Tournament. Goku, 1 cost. When you play it, if your opponent has 5 or more cards, they discard a card. Just a little bit of hand value, plus it's a green energy, which is relevant as you'll see as we go on. Muay Taito is super valuable counterplay if you need it. When you play this card, if it's your opponent's turn, you place this card in its owner's drop area, and if you do, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost greater than their energy, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest mode, and it can't be switched to active mode until the start of your next turn. So they just lose a big body. It's a counterplay, so they play out like a giant bomb that costs more than their energy, and you're like, nope, it's tapped. Very strong. This Roshi, when you play it, it's a 1-drop. It takes a life, which is good. Awakening is cool, and it's one of our only accesses to self-awakening in this deck. But you can also pay 1 and choose a life in your hand and add it to your, or a life, 1 of your life and add it to your hand. So you can, with this guy for 2, take 2 life. But you get to grab a Moon Destroying Kamehameha from your deck. You're not going to do this one super often, but it's super nice when you can. The Moon Destroying Kamehameha is a 1-cost activate battle that gives your Jackie Chun leader plus 15k, and then it chooses one of your battle cards in rest mode and puts it in the owner's drop area to draw a card. There are 10 little guys that you could have in rest mode that you could sacrifice with this, but we'll talk in a second about why that's relevant. We've got Piccolo Jr., the Arena Wrecker. This card and Vegeta, Tactical Assault, or whatever it's called, the 2-cost Field Destroyer. Not many decks can main deck those. This one, it can cost 1 if your opponent has a field out, and when you do, you get to blow up the field. That's sweet. He gets plus 5k for the turn. He becomes a 20k for 1, and you get rid of their field card. There aren't a ton of decks that do have fields, but as you saw even in this event, there's the Broly's Ring, which you can hit. Invoker has the Tournament of Power Arena. So there are a number of things that it still will hit for value, and when it does, this is a 3-cost 20k that set them back a turn. I'm going to talk about Goku and Jackie Chun here in just a second separately, because they're a little bit of part of this kind of combo. You really don't want to have to pay 3 or 4 for these, and they're kind of bricky when you draw them, but they do make decent energy if you do. King Piccolo, this is a really cool power booster card as well. It's a 20k double striker. You can play it for free if you sacrifice 2 World Tournament guys. cool. You can like play this guy to draw 2 cards or to like counter an attack from the turn before. You can play this guy to search the top 7. You can play this guy to discard a card, whatever. Now you've got some just like weenies on the board that you don't need. Being able to play this guy out for free is super cool. So the thing that this deck is kind of about is Son Goku Savage Great Ape. This card I think is like super duper slept on and is crazy powerful. So for 1 energy, if you have 2 or more World Tournament guys in play, now this does say in all battle areas, so if you happen to be in like a World Tournament mirror, you get to play this guy even easier, but not common. You can play this card from your hand. For 1, you can't play more of this for the turn. Okay, easy. You can play 1 of these a turn, you can play it for 1. When it's removed from the battle area by a skill, if you have 4 or more energy, you can choose 2 cards in your hand and place them in the drop area. Then you choose 1 of your yellow energy and switch it to rest mode. And if you did both of those things, you choose an Unyielding Victory Son Goku and an Unyielding Victory Jackie Chun from your deck and play them. So you get to play Goku and Jackie Chun. Goku's a 3-cost 15k barrier. Once per turn, you can tap the Jackie Chun that you just got to play for free. And if you did, this card gets plus 5k, double strike, and triple attack. So it becomes a 20k double strike, triple attack, so you get to attack for 6 total damage over 3 swings at 20k. The Roshi, or I guess Jackie Chun, is a blocker barrier. He taps to do the thing, so he'll just be tapped so you don't get to attack with him. But at the end of the turn, you can then KO the little Goku to untap this guy and 1 of your energy, which sets up a blocker and negate energy or whatever that you would need for the next turn. Super strong if you need it to be. The Great Ape Bardock's, your typical arrival, or sort of arrival. You combo with it, you play it, you tap something, draw a card. Really strong, just hyper valuable card in this format. Used to be super, super, super expensive, and now is, nothing. But these 4-cost numbers are hyper relevant. The big finisher for this deck here is Son Gohan, the Wounded Victor. 8-cost, triple strike. It's a successor for green, yellow, and 1. So for 3 energy, you can play this guy by sacrificing 8 cost worth of green or yellow cards. When this card attacks, you choose a yellow Goku in your drop area and combo with this card, which is this Goku here. This Goku says when you combo this card, you choose a green, yellow Gohan, and you switch to active mode. So for 3 energy, you play this Gohan. You get a 30k triple striker who can attack probably 2 times because of comboing with this Goku, which technically makes him a 35 that first time, even if you combo nothing. So you got a 35k triple strike and a 30k triple strike. If you successored away this Goku and then 4 cost worth of other stuff, King Piccolo for free was a really nice target for that. If this Goku left because of a skill, which successor is, you can pay the 1 energy from him and discard 2 cards to play Unyielding Victory Son Goku and Unyielding Victory Jackie Chun. That is essentially a 4-cost combo, or you can do 3 Awaken and pay 1 more. However you want to do it, but you need 4 energy total to pull that off. So you pay 4 to do that. You've gotten to sacrifice this guy, you've sacrificed like a Piccolo or whatever, and now you've got a Gohan, you've got a 4-cost Jackie Chun, and a 3-cost Goku. This is attacked for 35k triple and 30k triple. Now this attacks for 20k double, 20k double, 20k double for 6 more damage. You've now hit for 12 potential damage this turn. You have from there an 8-cost and a 4-cost, conveniently, that you can sacrifice for free into Cell Zeno. Quad Strike 40k, so you can swing for 4 more damage. So now you're at 16 damage that you've swung for the turn. Fantastic. And if you have 5 or more energy when you did this, which is enough energy to play this Goku and do this and pay the cost all in the same turn, which is the dream, you've now got 5 energy. It rips 3 cards out of their hand and attacks a second time. So you've now attacked for 20 total damage this turn with 5 paid energy. Plus you get a leader swing, 21 damage, plus anything else that you might have already had in play. If you swung the Piccolo, that could be another 20, or that's a double strike, so that could be 23 damage. As you can see, like the volume of damage you can output on turn 4 or 5 with this deck is like absolutely insane. It does take some effort to get there, and you've got the tools to make it happen. You've got Zamasu super combos to help kind of carry yourself there. You can combo over something plus tap something. That's good. You got Nimbuses, which will really slow down a wide turn. Play-by-plays is another 4 negates. You've got Mushaidos to tap important attackers. You can combo over stuff and then still tap things with this Bardock. You've just got a lot of ways to stay in the game. You do have to find a way to remove this with a skill, and sometimes the successor thing isn't gonna quite line up. It's awesome, obviously, when it does, but sometimes you just don't have the Piccolo or, enough of these little small guys to justify the second half of this card, so you just need another way to get rid of this. This gives you plus 15k and sacks a card that you have in rest mode. So you can attack with this guy, you get a 20k swing, you play this when on your leader swing to go from 20 to 35, and then you sack this Goku, and then you still get to play Jackie Chun and Goku. And so you still get 6 more damage out of it, and then in that case you get a blocker and a untapped energy, which you can have for Nimbus the next turn, and you can kind of set yourself up to pull it off again the following turn with another copy of this Goku, and just kind of keep things going. There's just so many ways for this deck to stay in the game, but it does rely on getting important pieces when it needs it, and sometimes you just don't quite get there. You have a ton of ways to draw cards and cheap fodder to combo with and things, so you do have a lot of staying power, but it's just important to know that when you do play this kind of deep combo deck, that sometimes you just miss it, and that is what it is. But I did win with this deck. This was my deck I played for this event. I went undefeated with it, and it pulled it off. I don't know that this could do the same thing in a full environment with the Surge decks and stuff. Obviously it would be worse there, but it worked really well here. One last thing I want to talk about with this Jackie Chun leader card is his backside effect. When he attacks, he draws a card and gets plus 5k, so he attacks at 20k. But when he attacks a battle card that's in rest mode, because that's how you attack battle cards, your opponent can't combo. So as long as they don't negate the attack, his attack into a battle card will kill it. You can combo whatever you need to kill it, and then it's gone. Sometimes that's really, really relevant. Opponents sometimes don't expect you to be able to swing, your 15k into their 40 and have enough to overcome it. But this guy's just no, I just need to get there. I just need to get to 30. You can't do anything about it, and if I can, your card is just dead. And so you can really set them back a turn or 2 or 3 of building up some kind of value with that kind of swing. Not something that not any other leaders can do, and it's really, really annoying to have to remember to play around. And I was able to use that to great effect in the event. Finally, for the sideboard, I wanted to get to this last here. As you can see, it's very blue. This is like a transformative board. You basically put this whole package in. Sometimes your opponent plays enough of the right kind of removal to just clear you out. And you just can't stick the cards in the right ways to make this successor kind of combo thing work out. You can't keep enough of these small guys on the table to be able to play these for free, Your opponent doesn't have fields, so you can't play this. So there's just a ton of stuff that can go wrong. And when that happens, you kind of side out this whole successor bit, and you just plop this in. And you pivot then into just kind of inherent value from the Bardocks. You can play these out for 3, which is fine, but this Dende lets you, when you play it, you search your deck for a 5 or less World Tournament card, send it to the Warp, and then next turn you get to play it, or you get to put it in your hand, and then you can pay 2 to put a card from your hand to the Warp that costs 3 or less and play it. So you could delayed play this Goku for 2, and then you've still got the access to the double triple thing. He does have barrier while you set it up too, so you can still get some value out of it that way. You get Awakening to Pan for a little bit more Self-Awakening if you need it, but also it's a blue energy, same with Bean. You really need to have access to blue. Frost Deadly Poison is super strong, and having the blue for it is good. But Hit in Cold Blood is where this like little side deck package really shines. It's a 30k triple striker that you can reduce the cost of by 1 to a minimum of 4 for each blue or yellow card that you have in play. We have a ton of yellow battle cards, so it's pretty easy to get the cost down. And then you can have some, pans or stuff like that too if you really set it up right. But there's often that I got to play this card for 4. It's a 4 cost, then 30k triple striker. And when you play it, your opponent flips their leader back to its front side. When I used this against the blue Beerus deck, and it was really valuable. That deck really needs to be on its backside to keep things moving towards its victory, and keeping it off of the victory side is also really relevant. So I was able to just kind of keep slowly playing these, and then it's just, all right, another 30k triple striker, another 30k triple striker, another 30k triple striker, and the pressure of that really adds up too. In combo with the Bardock's double strike, you can really get a lot of value from there too. And worst case scenario, if you had played these, it is 7 cost worth of stuff. It is a blue and yellow card, so it is still yellow, so it still counts for sell. So if you still paid 7, you just need 5 cost worth of other stuff, like Goku and 2 Gokus or 2 Roshis or whatever, to still get to pull off Selzeno. So that's like, I still leave this in. You could side it out if you really were like fully uncommitting to this kind of package, but I left it in when I played. But overall, this deck was super duper fun, and it was really exciting to get to see it perform. This event was really cool. Obviously, I really like the Go format just in general, but this one just being a little more lighthearted meant that there was some interesting kind of off-meta stuff that was played, and that was cool. I apologize if this video is another 36 minutes long. I know that these tend to get kind of wordy, but I really like the format, and I have a ton to say about it, and especially in a format like, in an event like this where there's uncommon decks played, there's just more to talk about. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around this long. If you haven't played Go format yet, I really suggest it. Even if you've didn't play it when it happened and you have no experience with the format and you just know modern masters, it's still, I think, a really good time. You don't have the Z deck or the Unisons or whatever, but this is still a very fast, aggressive format. Cards are still hyper high powered. You have a lot of really valuable cards that can come out for free or for cheap, but you have a ton of counterplay options as well, so there's a lot of interaction back and forth. I just think it's a really cool era of the game. There is some people who sort of dug into playing set 1 and 2 kind of meta, where it's just really classic, very slow fundamentals super. Feels almost like Fusion World or something, honestly, but that's its own kind of thing, and it is cool too. But this one, I think, while it doesn't have the unisons and stuff, I think it still has that same kind of power feeling where cards just have a ton of value, and the stuff that is good is good. Their cards are just really powerful and impactful when they hit the board, but there's a ton of opportunity to counter your way out of it, and just you've got to make sure you've got your sequencing down and stuff like that. Just a really engaging format. If you haven't come and checked out the Discord, I highly recommend you do. As always, there will be a link in the description of this video. And we are, in fact, because this one's a little late, we are just about done with our next tournament. So that video will be coming shortly as well. And I'll just kind of keep putting these out each time we wrap one of these up. And we'll just keep working to grow the format. All right, thanks for hanging out. Until next time.